Poonawala and Dr. Anand Ranganathan would continue with us on debate number 2 as well. Moving on. Now, what's parliamentary and what's unparliamentary is being redefined. Barbs and taunts previously used as ammunition to destroy political opponents are now being censured. While some are neologisms like Jumla Jeevi and Andolan Jeevis, others are seemingly innocuous words like false, traitor and even lollipop. The opposition was quick to blame the BJP for forcing the speaker to debar words which are used to criticize the NDA like bhrashtachar. First listen in to them, these reactions that are coming in, and they are alleging that the voice of the people is being muzzled.
आज आप आज़ादी आने से आज तक में किसी भी असेंबली ने या लोकसभा या राज्यसभा के हमारे जो अनपार्लियामेंट्री वर्ड्स में जुमले जीवी, जुमलेबाज, वो कभी भी अनपार्लियामेंट्री नहीं हुआ है। भ्रष्ट कभी भी अनपार्लियामेंट्री नहीं हुआ है। आप झूठ बोल रहे हो, आप नौटंकी कर रहे हो।
There is a set procedure inside the parliament.
Yes, sir, please tell us about it.
Set procedure is that speaker should convene the meeting of a rule committee, and their agenda will be fixed because it is an institution. It is none of the individual's personal asset.
In fact, it's very interesting that the words that have been chosen as unparliamentary are usually used for the BJP government, and that shows that they are not prepared to accept any kind of criticism. नहीं तो ऐसा क्या है कि आपको जुमला जीवी से बहुत परेशानी हो रही है, तानाशाही से आपको परेशानी हो रही है.
So they know these are the very adjectives which are absolutely admissible for Bharatiya Janata Party, and knowing this fully well, they are trying to do this censorship. But let me tell you the fact, they cannot throttle the opposition voice like by doing this.
मैं कहूंगा पार्लियामेंट में खड़े होकर कि मैं देश के प्रधानमंत्री और उनकी सरकार पर फूल फेंक कर मारूंगा क्योंकि देश के युवाओं का मुकद्दर बेरोजगारी बना दिया. तो क्या फूल को अनपार्लियामेंट्री बना देंगे आप? कंटेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है.
Well, the speaker himself has called out the bluff of the Ninda GVs and he has given a point-by-point rebuttal. Listen to the speaker.
जब कभी भी संसद में चर्चा संवाद के दौरान चाहे सत्ता पक्ष हो चाहे प्रतिपक्ष हो, कोई भी मान्य सदस्य किसी पे आरोप प्रत्यारोप या अन्य विषयों के संदर्भ में बोलते समय कुछ विषयों पर आपत्ति करते हैं, तो उस समय जो पीठासीन अधिकारी रहते हैं, चाहे राज्य की विधानसभाओं में हो चाहे लोकसभा राज्यसभा में हो, वो उस समय मानते हैं कि ये शब्द जो बोला गया है, जिस क्रम में बोला गया है, वो संसदीय नहीं है, तो उसको एक्सपंज करते हैं, विलोपित करते हैं. और ये परंपरा बहुत लंबे समय से चली आ रही है. ये स्पष्ट मैं फिर करना चाहता हूं, किसी भी शब्दों को बैन नहीं किया गया है. जिन शब्दों को उस समय कार्रवाई के अंदर स्पंज किया गया है, चाहे लोकसभा हो चाहे राज्यसभा हो चाहे राज्य की विधानसभा हो, उसका संकलन जारी किया है. डिबेट चर्चा करने वाले जब दलों के आधार पर चर्चा करते हैं तो उनको दल से ऊपर उठकर जहां जहां उन दल की सरकार है उनके विषयों को भी सामने रखना चाहिए. देश में भ्रम की स्थिति नहीं होना चाहिए. किसी शब्दों को बैन नहीं किया है और किसी सरकार भी बैन नहीं करती है. मैं डिबेट और चर्चा में सुन रहा हूं कि इस सरकार ने बैन कर दिया, उस सरकार ने बैन कर दिया. चाहे राज्यों की सरकार हो चाहे केंद्र की सरकार हो, सभी राज्य की विधानसभा और लोकसभा और राज्यसभा एक स्वतंत्र स्वतः निकाय है जिन पर.
But is the speaker right in calling out Congress's duplicity? Sample the word bhrashtachar. Now, it was banned by the Congress in Rajasthan Assembly in 2021. But today, Priyanka Gandhi shoots a fiery tweet saying bhrashtachar करे तो उसे भ्रष्ट नहीं, भ्रष्टाचार का master stroke कहे. लेकिन राजस्थान को वो भूल गई. Now, let's get you some more words banned by the Rajasthan Assembly, which now find mention in the list compiled by the Loksabha secretariat. Sample this. Unpad was banned in Rajasthan Assembly in March 2021 under the Congress rule. Anargal banned again in 2021, again under the Congress rule. Auqat banned in 2021, Congress rule. And it's not just Rajasthan, states like Chhattisgarh have also banned certain words. Some more words that were banned by Chhattisgarh in the Chhattisgarh Assembly: Anshant, Anargal, Andha Bate, Revdi, Cheen Ki De. These are the words that were expunged or banned from the assemblies as well. Now, the speaker says it's a routine. So why is the opposition so upset? Let's open this up and go across to our guests. GVL Narasimha Rao, Dr. Anand Ranganathan and Tehseen Poonawala continue to be with us. We have Sujata Pandey, political analyst, and Jawahar Sircar, Rajya Sabha MP from the TMC on the broadcast. Good evening to all of you. Mr. Sircar, like I just told you and you heard from the speaker, it's a routine procedure, has been happening since 1950s. So why is the opposition so upset? It's not like these words have only been used by the opposition against the government.
No, it's not like that. You have to take a broader view. There's been a concerted, disconcerting move to choke the voice of the opposition. Last year, during the same monsoon session, they brought in a very provocative subject, Pegasus, on which the entire House was interrupted for the whole session. And then they went on passing bills of choice in 5 minutes and 7 minutes. It's a strategy almost like that. How can you accept a word like corrupt? How can you accept a word about foolish? How can you accept somebody like chatukar or something? I mean, these words are a part of the common parlance. Let us not use Rajasthan or Chhattisgarh as models of governance or models of anything. Their assemblies are independent, autonomous organizations, and they have taken their choice.
But these words, like the speaker said, have not been banned.
We don't need to copy examples of such extreme.
The Honourable Member of Parliament may use it, it will be expunged.
Whatever it is. No, it is not like that.
Okay.
This large vocabulary that has been brought into ban is exemplary, is extraordinary, and hurts the democratic sentiment.
It has hurt the democratic sentiment.
I have analyzed it and I have found that the English
picture
word
is that the government is muzzling the voices. That's the larger picture.
Okay, Swati, facts first. You know, the opposition MPs who seem to be absolutely disheartened by the new list which is released, the unparliamentary words list. I mean, they should know the few facts first. See, these words are not banned. They are free to use. They can continue to abuse and bring the dignity and the decorum of the parliament. Nobody's stopping it. It's just that these words will be expunged from the official recordings. Secondly, the throwing of mics, standing on the tables, breaking of the chair, tearing of the bills are still allowed. They can continue to do that. They can come up with innovative ways to abuse and insult in their regional language. That is their freedom. There's a lot of freedom over there. But the fact is that TMC and the Congress are forgetting that this practice has been in existence since 1954. Okay, and all these words are just a compilation. They are mere compilation, which are already expunged by the Loksabha, Rajya Sabha, and the state legislatures. You know, Congress had no problem when they were doing it, and even till Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, these lists were compiled and expunged. This is a compilation of the 25,000 words in a book, which is just for the reference sake. Okay. But just because it is done by the BJP for the hate of Modi, they have to raise this non-issue.
Okay, for the hate of Modi, they are opposing, says Sujata. Tehseen Poonawala is already smiling.
Of the issues.
Okay, it's for the hate of Modi.
I think she's way off the mark. Anyway.
Nobody, please, Mr. Member of Parliament, nobody hates Mr. Modi. We just love our country too much, and therefore we have to defeat Mr. Modi. There's a difference between the two, because that's the right thing to do for our country. But let's come to the crux of the issue. One of the words banned or not allowed to be spoken about is sexual harassment. In a country where every 6.2 minutes a woman is raped, you don't want the word sexual harassment to be mentioned. You don't want the word abuse to be mentioned. You don't want the word corrupt to be mentioned, which Sujata Pandey is right. The BJP was using it against the ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and they could prove nothing. You don't want the word Jumla Jeevi to be mentioned because that was the word used by the Honorable Home Minister describing Mr. Modi. So what words can be used? The words used by the Honorable Home Minister on the floor of the House when he replied to Supriya Sule says, and I quote him verbatim, कि क्या फारूक अब्दुल्ला की कनपट्टी पे बंदूक लगा के ले आओ, या the words used by the honorable prime minister describing the ex-honorable prime minister Dr. Manmohan Singh ji कि कैसे नहाते हैं raincoat पहनकर, these words should be used in parliament. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds the dubious distinction of his words being expunged not in one but in two houses of parliament. That is where the parliamentary standards have come down.
But Andolan GV was used by the Prime Minister in 2021 in Rajya Sabha. That is now part of the list. Narendra Tomar used the word Khoon ki Kheti. That is now part of the list.
And he wants it. So Jubla GV.
So
they should apologize for using it in parliament. First come to the people of India and apologize for using this language. Apologize.
Yeah. Swati, I think as the Honorable Speaker spoke to the media, the word that is being used in the media, these words are banned. That is most inappropriate word. There is no word that is banned. Members are free to speak the way they choose to, but they have to maintain parliamentary decorum. And if there are words that are considered unparliamentary by the previous speakers or the chairman of the Rajya Sabha or any speaker of the state assemblies, they have all been compiled together. So it's a compendium of all words that have been considered to be unparliamentary in debates that were conducted in state assemblies and parliament. You see, how can you? I object to the word Tanashahi being used. I raised it in parliament. When somebody spoke it, we are in a house of democracy. How can you denigrate your own democracy by calling it a Tanashahi dictatorship? I think you either have no respect for your democracy, or you simply want to gain effect.
Okay, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, is this censorship or is this just a compilation? Is this just a routine process or is this muzzling of the voices like the Member of Parliament is saying?
Two very quick points. Number one, I think, first of all, I must congratulate you, Swati. You have a delicious sense of irony. Here we are talking about unparliamentary language, and one of the panelists from the TMC is perhaps one of the most abusive persons around. He had to take back and apologize for calling the finance minister a sales girl. And you've called him on the panel, and he's deliberating on what is abusive and what is not. So a tremendous sense of irony. I must congratulate you.
I have not
Number
used
two,
such terms.
as you have already shown your wonderful primer. Now, can you please not interrupt? Can you please not interrupt? Did you not apologize for your execrable tweet?
I don't.
Have you not apologized for trolling and abusive language before Mr. Sircar? Let us be honest here.
It was a
let me ask you another question. Swati, you know this constant interruption whenever I speak. Is there a plan of these guys? Swati, can I please have my say?
Okay,
I mean, here I say it. I am the last panelist to speak.
Get to the subject.
And I don't even get 30 seconds.
Okay.
This is very unfair.
Dr. Anand Ranganathan, but please also come back to the topic.
I know
Can I please?
Whatever your name is.
Can I please?
Don't be personal.
Okay. Complete your point.
Can I please? Complete your point. Next you will have this lackey saying that what Mamta Didi said, Pichon Banch, is also parliamentary. So let's get away. Let's get to the topic. The news has already been declared as fake news by the Honorable Speaker. What the Congress was going on and on about since morning. Now, Swati, am I allowed to have my say, or
yes,
can I have
please
this?
go ahead, gentlemen. Please limit your arguments to the topic. Please, no personal jibes. Don't engage with each other right now. Please go ahead, Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Can you ask him? Can you ask him to not being unparliamentary? He is a member of Rajya Sabha. Let him be unparliamentary there. This is not Rajya Sabha. Okay. So now, as I was saying, two very quick points. Number one, Tehseen did not comment on the fact that most of these words that have been expunged previously, and this was a compendium as clarified by the Speaker, were done so in Congress-ruled states. Tehseen will not say that Congress-ruled assembly actually expunged the word corruption. He sidestepped it. So this is an absolute fake news that has been spread, and the canard has been clarified by the Speaker. Number two, Tehseen also... Now, Swati, I can't continue like this. This gentleman is a member of parliament. Does he not know? Does he behave like this? Thank you. Yeah, please ask him not to interrupt me. And number two, as far as you telling me, you asking me.
That's all.
Swati, you know, there is a fader. You know this, as an anchor, there is a fader. Please exercise your right, because I'm being constantly interrupted.
Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, okay, finish your point.
1 minute,
Finish your point. I can give you a couple of uninterrupted 30 seconds. Yes.
Swati, I would like to respond to Dr. Ranganathan.
Thank you.
Let him finish his
what
point
I
first.
wanted to say when you asked me a direct question was...
Sure.
See, yeah, thank you. You asked me a very pointed question about censorship. I partly agree with you. This is an old school boys toying around. I would call them arrested adolescents. How can somebody ban someone calling democracy dictatorship? I am not for any censorship except if it is a direct abuse. The point of the matter is that this is fake news. That is the whole point. The issue is none of the words have been banned as was alleged since morning. The speaker has already clarified these are expunged words, a compendium. Most of it was collated through Congress ruled assemblies. Tehseen, please clarify, why did Rajasthan Assembly expunge corruption? Why?
Okay, quickly, Tehseen Poonawala, quickly.
May I please reply to Dr. Ranganathan? Three very quick points to Dr. Ranganathan. A, whatever the state assemblies did expunge or did not expunge, they had the opposition in the meeting following parliamentary procedure. That was not followed here. That is the first objection. Two, even if Congress is wrong, is it the motto of the BJP for doing the wrong that the Congress does? Third, so that leads us to the main question in Parliament. Kare to kare kya, bole to bole kya, sirf wah Modi ji wah. Is that all that we are supposed to say? And
GVL Narasimha Rao, kare to kare kya, bole to bole kya ab? सब कुछ आप एक्सपंज कर रहे हैं.
It's not the BJP government which has done this. I think people know this. People like Tehseen know it for a fact, but then they will repeat it 10 times only to mislead people. Loksabha speaker clearly stated it's a speaker of Loksabha is an independent institution. It's a constitutional office. The the speaker has compiled, Speaker's office has compiled this information. It's not put out by the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. And he stated it clearly, also the procedure that was followed. I would like to believe that Lok Sabha Speaker in Rajasthan also is an honorable speaker.
You know, the member of parliament has said that we shouldn't take what is happening in the assemblies as the governance model. But Sujata, I want to bring you in and ask you a very important question. Another argument that is being given by the opposition is that only 25% of the bills passed made it to the select committee from 2014 to 2019 compared to 71% in 2009 to 2014 and 60% from 2004 to 2009. That suggests a pattern. Their allegation is that Mr. Rao already is nodding, but that question is to Sujata.
Wrong information. This is absolutely wrong information.
Okay, wrong information.
Number of committees the number of bills that are sent to the committees for review is far higher in our regime compared to the Congress.
Okay, that's your rebuttal. Okay, Sujata.
Yes.
Also, Swati, you know, sometimes when these bills are sent for the committee for their review or revision, you know, they take time. There are certain bills which have been pending since 7 years or 11 years as well. You know, one of the cases about the agriculture bill, I can't really recall the exact name of the bill, but there are a lot of times that this gets delayed. And people elect these representatives knowing well that they will take a decision which is in the true interest of the nation. So if the parliament is taking a decision, I don't really see that for every bill that needs to be sent to the committee for its review. So I think that is pretty clear over there.
Okay, all right. The opposition says this is censorship, that their voices are being muzzled. Like Tehseen Poonawala said, करें तो करे क्या, बोले तो बोले क्या, सब कुछ expunge हो रहा है. The government says आपको रोका नहीं जा रहा है. You're not being banned. You will still get the freedom to question the government and express your views. और दुनिया और देश आपको सुनेगी जब आप ऐसा कहेंगे. बाद में उसको expunge कर दिया जाएगा. Gentlemen, thank you. I'm completely out of time. I can't give you any more time. Dr. Ranganathan, I have to wrap up the debate. Thank you very much for joining us with your perspectives.